In the first few years of my 7-year cycle with Swami Muktananda, I experienced many deep teachings. Many beings from the astral plane literally appeared, sometimes physically. Like one time I was walking with Swami Prakashananda, and the figure of Sai Baba of Shirdi, who left his body in 1918, way before my time, physically appeared in front of me and put his hand out, and energy came out, and it literally knocked me over. Now, I asked Swami Prakashananda, what just happened? Was I being delusional, or did I just see Sai Baba of Shirdi? He said, no, that was Sai Baba of Shirdi. He appeared, and you got the energetic transmission from him. And so this was going on pretty intensely for the first few years. And then everything began to quiet down, and I began to merge into the white light. Just literally disappear, except there was the awareness of my consciousness. And then it went deeper into the void, into the blackness, the illuminated blackness. So these are what we call different levels of samadhi. One is called nirvikalpa samadhi. And then what began to happen is I just began to feel the inner bliss all the time, as if there was just this column of light going on, the self, non-causal joy, non-causal peace, non-causal love, non-causal oneness, non-causal harmony. It's like, wow, okay? And that was the next level of the transformation, is that every day, and I'm meditating 6 hours a day, 2 hours, 3 times a day, I would just merge into this nothingness. And that continued for years, and less of an identity on my part was left with Gabriel. Now, did that mean that I didn't have a physical body? Of course I did. Did that mean I didn't have to take care of it? Of course I had to take care of it. But it wasn't my primary identity. It wasn't who I was. I was the light of the self prior to physicalness, really prior to consciousness. And as this went on, at some point, Swami Prakashananda said, you're liberated, you're self-realized. It's like, oh, well, I didn't believe that. But this kept going on, and basically there was no me there. And they used the term I am that, and what began to happen is the I am part was gone. It was only that. So he insisted on it, and after a few months, I actually agreed with his acknowledgement. And then it came time to take my leave. It was a 7-year cycle. My family had gone back. My wife and my 2 children had already returned. I just wasn't quite done with the cycle. And I was able to take my farewell of Swami Muktananda. I acknowledged him for receiving the purpose for which I came, which is liberation. And he acknowledged that liberation. And I bowed and honored him, and I left. And just a few days later, he also left his body. So it was pretty good timing. Now, the key is, I never proclaimed, oh, you're self-realized. No, that was never mine. I had my 2 spiritual teachers, my 2 spiritual masters tell me that. So you have to listen to your spiritual master. But the key to understanding is it's not about a bunch of experiences. It's about the internal transformation that goes on when it's your time. And when it's your time, you have to make a choice, which is what I did. It's like, okay, the door's opening. I'm going through it. I'm going for it at the highest level of what I can be. And that was the key. I was willing to meditate 6 hours a day and chant and be in what we call satsang for 4.5 hours a day. It was a pretty long day. It was just on and on. I was loving it, tremendous amount of energy, but I also chose to put myself in that line of spiritual fire. That's a choice people need to make. And then whatever it is what it is. I didn't have goals. I just knew there's a fire happening, I'm happening, and I'm just going to keep showing up. It's kind of the story of life. Just keep showing up at the highest octave you can be. And wonderful things, wonderful levels of transformation really do happen.